worried about how you were presenting yourself as a leader? Well, a lot of times there are these very subtle things that we do that actually harm us when we are trying to establish our executive presence. So, in this video, I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I have noticed over my past 20 years as a C suite executive, a manager, and a director that I have seen the best leaders struggle with that have impacted their executive presence. Now, I want to preface this by saying that one, I'm really glad to be here. I have been in a big transition here on my end, and I haven't been able to go live like I normally do during the week, but that will be changing within the next week. And so I appreciate your patience, but I'm in a very, very good place right now, and I'm just really excited to be in this phase of my business and my life personally. So I want to say that hang in there with me. I will be back on my normal schedule within the next, I'd say week, probably a week and a half, if that. So let's go into these subtle things that you can do. So when you are in a workplace setting or in your business, some of the subtle things that I've noticed that people do that will impact how they are being perceived and really impact their executive presence in a negative way is what they talk about at work. Now, I have seen this from many leaders, even at the C-suite level. What you talk about at work can either elevate or cause your executive presence to go way down. What are some things you're probably thinking about? What are some topics I want to know from you that you've heard at work that you felt like were maybe not too inappropriate to talk about in a work setting? Let me know in the comments below. I want to know what you've been hearing also. So some of the things that I've seen people do is that they'll talk about their own personal business. Now, sometimes you may want to establish rapport. A lot of times we do this as women in leadership and we're trying to establish that rapport. But there's some information that you really should just keep to yourself, and you shouldn't necessarily have to talk about it to every single person, depending on the scenario. So your personal business is something you want to keep to yourself unless it is directly impacted with something that is going on specifically with your role. If there's a crisis going on and you're supposed to be completing a role, but you're not able to complete the role because you have this crisis going on, then by all means, you might need to say something about it. So talking about your personal business at work is something that will absolutely cause your executive presence to be impacted in a negative way. Now, before I go into another subtle sign that people do sometimes that will impact their executive presence, I want to say hello to everyone that has joined today. Hello and welcome. Glad you all are here today. If you are wanting to elevate yourself as leaders and go to that next level and make additional money and be that very best version of yourself, this is the place to be. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be happy to give you some additional insights on your leadership journey that will help you communicate at a higher level than your peers. All right, so I want to say hello to Himes. Hello, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here today. If you have any questions about developing your executive presence, this is the place for you to be at today. I will share with you a couple of insights just for a few moments that will help all of you be able to showcase yourself as the leaders that you want to be. So we're talking about subtle things people do that can actually impact your executive presence. So we talked about your personal business at work. Don't talk about your personal business at work if you can help it, unless it's related to something that's going on. As I mentioned, if you missed it, if it's a crisis, then this is something that you might want to talk about, you need to share because it's impacting your work. All right, so let me say hello, DBC, hello, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here today. If you have any questions about executive presence, let me know. Question is, who are you? Okay, my name is Dr. Jacinta Lamantai. I am the CEO and founder of Excite Excellence Incorporated, where I help individuals like you be able to elevate how you are communicating as leaders and go to that next level stage of leadership in your career. Will help you be able to make a bigger impact on the world, generate more income, and just live the life you're looking for. So if you're really serious about trying to elevate how you are as a leader, you're at the right place. Feel free to subscribe, and I'll be happy to interact with you and have conversations about any questions you have related to being a leader. I've been in the manager role as a C-suite executive and a director and a public speaker for the past 20 years. So you're gonna learn a lot of information from me that is next level type of information that will absolutely help you on your journey. So absolutely. We are talking about subtle things that people do to cause them to have problems with their executive presence. And this is something that is an advanced leadership type skill. So we talked briefly about what you say at work in terms of what you talk about. Your personal business is something you want to keep to yourself because it can detract away from your executive presence. The second thing I've seen people do is talk about other people's personal business. Now, this is something that you just don't want to do. If you have people that you are close with or you confide in, you still just want to be mindful because you don't want to share other people's business, if that makes sense, especially if you are in a leadership role or in a manager role. Sharing other people's business is not okay, especially if you are in the same room with somebody else that is not at your level in terms of being a leader. This has happened. I've seen this happen many, many times where people just get really comfortable with the people they're around and they feel like they can just talk about other people's business or their personal business. It's something that's just not appropriate and it will automatically cause your executive presence to go down. So you want to be mindful of things like that also. Another subtle conversation or topic that comes up oftentimes when people are trying to establish their executive presence is that they will start talking about things that are just not really appropriate to talk about at work. So I've talked about three things, three subtle ways that will negatively impact your executive presence. The first way is to talk about your own personal business if it's not directly related to what the task is at hand. The second is to talk about other people's personal business, especially if you are in a leadership role or in a manager role. You don't want to do that, especially in front of people that are not in that same role as you are in. And third is to talk about things that are not appropriate at work. Now, I know a lot of people watch TV. They watch TV, they watch funny things, and I get it. You know, we all watch funny things. We all want to laugh at work, and that's fine. But just be careful what you talk about. If it's something that is just very, very inappropriate, that you feel like, if I said this on TV, would this be something that I would want to have repeated? Then you might not want to repeat it, depending on what you say. That is a rule of thumb that I use. And if it's something that you're comfortable with talking about, then that's fine. Just be prepared to know that if this particular person you are sharing that information with tells other people, are you okay with other people knowing what you said? These are some higher level strategies I'm sharing with you because I see people make this mistake all the time. And if you've been on my channel or subscribed to my channel, I hope you all remember that what I tell you is the number one reason why people struggle with their executive presence. And if you have not watched any of my videos, I'm going to share that reason with you right now. The number one reason why people struggle with their executive presence is because they're not being consistent all of the time. And so what I'm sharing with you right now is the subtle conversations that happen in a workplace setting that can cause your executive presence to not be the way you want it to be and can impact you as the leader and can impact you be able to move forward in your particular career. So I'm sharing with you knowledge. And if you have any questions specifically as it relates to your executive presence, then feel free to let me know. I'm here to support you on your journey and here to help you become that amazing leader. You know, a lot of times there's not a book out here that says, this is how you need to elevate yourself as a leader. This is what you need to do to try to get to that next level of leadership. And I know I've been there, I've made those mistakes, and I don't want you to make those same mistakes. Of course, I focus on my audience with women in leadership, but I know I have a lot of people in my audience that are not in that category of women in leadership, but I'm here to help you because I know that if you are subscribed to my channel and you're following me and you're watching me and spending time with me, that you really are trying to elevate yourself in your career. And I want to be able to support you even if you're not in my audience or not, because this is what I'm here for. I'm here to really help as many people as I can communicate at that next level. So do you have any questions? So let's see. Okay, so one of the questions that DBC asked is, what do you do in a bullying setting? Okay, because I get bullied. So there's a lot of things that can happen when you're in a bullying type of setting, and I appreciate you so much for sharing that insight. And a couple things, especially in a workplace setting, when you have bullying that's going on, if you feel comfortable about it, you know, you need to have a conversation with someone in your human resources department because that is going to be really the first line of defense when you have those situations come up, because they come up in a workplace setting. People try to maybe say bullying only happens in schools. No, it happens in workplace settings too, and in businesses also. So first, I would really think about human resources. That's where I would start first, and I'm saying this from the level of a C-suite. You want to definitely keep them in contact in terms of what's going on. Now, if you have some concerns about your human resources department, which sometimes it happens, I'm just being honest with you. You may have an issue with your human resources department, and it happens, it does. Then you want to definitely separate yourself from the people that are trying to give you a hard time. And the best way that I've found to do that is to be very observant in terms of what people are doing. A lot of times you can pick up on subtle cues when people are about to say something or act in a way that is not appropriate. You just have to watch them. And that's something I talk about on my LinkedIn profile, is that I will help you learn how to start reading people, because you have to be able to see them. A lot of times people, you'll notice it. If you've had somebody bully you before, they may turn their head away, or they may move your head around, or they may scratch your head. You'll start to pick up when they're about to say something really ridiculous. And when they do, just catch them. Oh, excuse me, I have somewhere I have to go. And just walk away and just leave. The key when you have those bullying situations is, one, reach out for help, which is why I mentioned human resources, but you also have to do things to yourself. Human resources is not going to just sit there and be with you at every single moment of the day. You still have to be able to be that executive, present that best version of yourself, that very confident and very authoritative person of yourself, especially when you're dealing with workplace bullies. So you want to be able to detract yourself and get away from them as quickly as possible. A lot of times people that are bullying, they are just at a very low level. And if you're subscribed to my channel or following me, you know I'm trying to get you at that next higher level. So you don't even want to be around those type of people anyways. Just get away from them. If you have another project, just work on something else. Always be busy, and people will start to pick up on it and say, oh, this person's busy. One of the things that I did, because I didn't necessarily have bullying specifically happen to me, but when I was in very contentious situations as a C-suite and as a director and as a manager, I would walk away. If we were in meetings and I felt like, okay, this meeting is unproductive, it is ridiculous, I literally would get my stuff and walk away. I would come back. I wouldn't be that rude person that just walked away and disappeared and never came back to the meeting. No, you still want to present yourself as that leader, that you are strong and you can handle pressure. But I would walk away. I would just walk away and go do something else. I would check my phone. I would do anything else to get myself out of that negative situation. It's all about where you are and how you position yourself. And now you may be saying, I'm in a meeting, or I can't leave, I can't go anywhere. Yes, you can. You can go and run to the restroom if you need to. So make sure you're empowering yourself to do what you need to do to make sure that you are in the right mindset to deal with people. And if you need to mentally take a break and someone's bullying you and you need to walk away, walk away. And if someone's saying something inappropriate, you can say, okay, that's not appropriate to talk about in a workplace setting, and walk away. So I hope that helps you. I'm sorry you're going through that, and I'd be happy to go more into this. If you'd like for me to, I'll do a video just for you, okay? You let me know in the comments if you want to go more into it. But that's something I found when you're dealing with bullying. We have to get you at that next level in here, in your mind, so that when those things happen, it doesn't bother you as much, but you have strategies in place that can actually help you to figure out, well, what do I need to do? How do I need to get out of here? Because I learned these things on my own. I didn't actually have a book and someone tell me, when you're in a really bad situation, you need to make sure you leave the room or detract yourself and go somewhere else. I had to figure it out on my own. And that's why I share this information to my audience, because a lot of times you might be in high pressure situations. You may be in situations where you've been bullied and you're not really sure, like, what should I do? It starts with you. And so building up your executive presence, building up that confidence to be at that next level will ultimately help anyone that is struggling with bullying in the workplace setting to really combat that. And of course, in addition to support, always getting support is very, very helpful as well. So let me see if there's any question. Okay, I already love this channel and I just got here. Oh, well, thank you, DVC. I appreciate that. Absolutely. This is what I talk about all of the time. I typically live a lot more, but I'm in a huge transition right now, business-wise, and here personally, but I'm just everything's going very well. But normally I'm live a lot more. I'm just in the middle of not being live for about a week or two. But yes, this is what I talk about on the channel. And if you find some value here, you're welcome to share it with any of your colleagues or your friends that are really trying to just get to that next level in their lives. They want to be that leader. They want to be able to deal with people that are bullying them at work. And I'm here to provide them with any support that I can. Just take as much knowledge as you can. I've been dealing with this type of very friendly and very challenging situation for the past 20 years. And I know what it's like when you feel like you're in a situation where people are giving you a hard time and you're not really quite sure of how do you navigate this situation. So that's what I'm here for. I'll help you as best I can. All right. So typically I go live. The question is, what times do you go live? Usually it is around 7, it's usually between 7:05 and 7:20 Eastern Standard Time. That's typically when I go live. It's just right now for the next, I'd say, week and a half probably. My schedule's just off just because I have a big transition going on right now. And so I'm just not in my normal stationary setting like I normally would be. So that's the only reason why I'm off. But just subscribe to the channel if you're interested, and then you'll see notifications of when I go live. I typically do go live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's typically during the week is when I go live, and it's usually around about that time. I just happen to be going live later this evening because I haven't been live since I ended up going through this transition and being able to get in a different situation to where I have not been live, and I really value my audience. I said, let me make sure that I am present for them, I'm here for them, and that's why I'm going live late tonight. That's why I said, I gotta be with my audience. I need to make sure I connect with them and provide them with some value, even though my schedule's been a little bit off. So absolutely, that is what it is. Okay, thank you. Thank you, DBC. I appreciate you so much for liking and subscribing to the channel. And thank you so much. I appreciate you saying this is the best channel. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm really here to help you as much as I can. And if you have any other questions as it relates to anything that you're managing, potentially in your business or potentially at work or in your career, I'm really here to help you. I've been doing this a long time. I've been in different type of settings where I've been in those very friendly situations. I've been in those contentious situations, and I've had the opportunity to be in those settings where I've had to be in a different mindset and communicate at a higher level. I've spent some time in Washington, D.C. with different congressional leaders. I've given Florida State congressional testimony here and been on the news. So I've been in those high stakes situations. And so I share that information with my audience to help them just gain from the experience that I have that will help them be able to communicate at that higher level than their peers. All righty. Well, that's all right. I'm 10. Okay, awesome. Very good. And don't have a business, that's all right. This is for anybody. If you are in any type of leadership role, manager role, you're just developing yourself as in your career, this is a place where you're going to get real knowledge, real strategies. I share this with my audience. I'm not here to tell you the fluff and talk about theories and hypotheses and things like that. I'm here to tell you this is really what it's like when you're trying to elevate. And so that's what this channel is about real strategies, real world scenarios, and real things that actually happen that a lot of times people don't talk about. Just like you mentioned, DBC, about bullying. People don't really talk about that a lot of times in the workplace setting. You hear it all in schools with children, and it does happen there for sure, but it happens at work also. So this is a place where we just have that conversation. Okay, awesome. Very good. You have a channel. Okay, awesome. Very good. I'll check your channel out. Absolutely. I definitely will do that. Awesome. Well, if you all have any other questions, I would definitely appreciate them. If not, and if you're just joining, I appreciate you being here today. I want to share with you the subtle ways that you may be impacting your executive presence in a negative way. One, you may be talking about your personal business when you should not be doing that at work unless it is directly related to the project at hand. Two, you might be talking about somebody else's business. That doesn't look good either, especially if you are in a manager role. So just be mindful of what you're talking about. And finally, you might be saying things that are inappropriate at work. We all watch TV and watch different TV shows, but sometimes you might not need to talk about it in a workplace setting if you are serious about presenting yourself as that very best version of yourself and as an executive. So I hope this information has helped you. And if y'all have any questions, I appreciate you so much. And if you're watching the replay, feel free to ask any questions as well. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye for now.